I had a front row seat back then wondering, why is this team being dismantled? We were all thinking that at the time. Why must this be the last dance? And even though we all knew that Phil Jackson and Krause were not getting along, and Jordan hated Krause, and there had to be all sorts of stuff between these teammates, with Rodman leaving in the middle of the season to have to go to Vegas for a head clearer, and then bolting the team in the middle of the NBA Finals to take part in hitting, yes, I know it's Diamond Dallas Page who he hit with a folding chair, okay?
Throw it up.
Okay, I get it. I know. I referred to him as some guy on my Sports Center reportage back in 1998. But we all knew that at the time. However, the undercurrent at the time always was, sitting next to Stuart Scott, he would say it all the time. Yeah, this is not working past this year, but they've got to give it a try, right? Like, once all the dust settles, they have to give it a try. And we found out last night that Reinsdorf gave it a try by going to Phil Jackson saying, you can come back. And then gave a word salad sort of explanation as to why the team had to be dismantled, which was shown to Jordan on an iPad. And Jordan basically said, I can't wait to hear this, because Jerry and I have never really had a conversation about this. And my question is, you never had a conversation about this. Why? Or you didn't have a conversation with Jerry Reinsdorf after that Last Dance three-peat at some point in that summer, even when, a labor dispute was brewing in the NBA. Like, you never had a one-on-one conversation with the owner of the Bulls, who never took you in. He just talked to Phil. And then after Phil said no, did Phil call you? I mean, again, I know that this documentary was moved up by 2 months. I don't know if this stuff exists. I don't know why I didn't see it last night. What happened with Scottie? Right? When did these conversations take place? I was waiting for the big finish to talk about, full on, in depth, rip the lid off of, why did this team not stay together? What was Jerry Krause's role in all this? I know he's passed away. Couldn't somebody tell that story? And in that regard, Jerry Krause's unpublished memoir hit Twitter this weekend, thanks to our first guest calling in 9 minutes' time, Casey Johnson of NBC Sports Chicago. And Krause does lay it all out. From Phil to Michael to Scottie to Rodman to Luke Longley to Steve Kerr, why those guys left and when they left and how they left, and Judd Bushler and how he left. The dismantling of the Bulls and why. And yes, it is very, very, one would say, if you want, easy on the reputation of Jerry Krause. But I'm waiting to hear what happened. Like, when did these conversations go down? I mean, honestly, that's one of the first questions I would ask Michael if we got the opportunity to speak to him. Why did this not happen? Did you not get a contract offer? Did you never say to Jerry, I'd come back if X, Y, Z happens? Phil returns, you keep Rodman for another year, and we figure out what to do with Scottie. I'll handle Scottie. You handle the rest. I'll handle Phil and Scottie. You handle the rest. I mean, did that never happen? Did that conversation never happen?
So like you said, there was a labor issue that year.
Right.
The 98-99 season. The season didn't begin until February 5th, 1999.
Which is another reason why, had the Bulls stayed together, and I understand the Spurs in 99 were terrific, but they were terrific in part because Kerr was there too. And if they had kept the Bulls together with them running on fumes, which is what Jerry Krause referred to Rodman at the end of the year in his unpublished memoir, saying that they decided that Rodman each person in the room, he said that after the season in July of 98, Reinsdorf, himself, the assistant general manager, Jim Stack, Al Vermeil, the team doctors and surgeons, VP of finance, and the assistant to the general manager were all in the room, and they asked the trainer, Chip Schaefer, who had quite a bit of a run on the shows last night, to submit a written report on the team's health. He said that Phil had made a decision to leave 8 months before the meeting. Now, Phil could have made that decision because Jerry said you could go 82-0 and you're out.
Yeah.
Again, there's so many different ways of looking at it. He said that Rodman, each person in the room was concerned that Dennis's off-court meanderings had caught up with him, that he was playing on fumes at the end of the season. But a 50-game season as opposed to 80? Could they have won that one? Could they have gone a four-peat? Could you imagine if they had won 4 in a row and 7 out of 9? Holy cow.
I mean, 6 out of 8 still.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but, greed is good in the sports world. We want more. How many yachts can you water ski behind, to use the phrase from Wall Street? Again, there's more to this story than what we got at the end last night. Why? Why is still the fact that question didn't get, in my mind, a full accounting of an answer? I kind of left last night with the credits rolling, and I'm like, I would have taken 10 fewer minutes on the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. I would have. I loved it. I
don't know what you would have shaved there. I mean,
I don't know, but I wanted to know why. Hey, Scottie, why? When were you told that you're done? Who told you? Did you try to stay? Did anybody get together? Jerry Krause said that Michael, in the summer, after the final Last Dance episodes that we saw last night, after the gathering in Grant Park for a third straight year, what a scene that was.
Right.
That he said that the summer war on players were locked out of the training facilities by the league. And this is Jerry Krause in his unpublished memoir. It would mean that the NBA season would not start until late January. Things got even worse. He said Michael sliced a finger on a cigar cutter that would have prevented him from playing an entire season anyway.
Yeah, I remember hearing that at the time.
To his credit, he could have stiffed us and signed a huge contract, but he was honest, and we were well informed with what the condition of the hand was. He didn't want to play on a rebuilding team, and he stuck to his word. Krause said that Pippen's agents asked us to do Scottie a favor when the league was about to resume and free agents could be signed. By doing a sign and trade with Houston, Scottie could get more than $20 million more than he could just by staying with a straight-out contract. Jerry and I, meaning Reinsdorf and I, gave him his going-away present. I called Steve and Judd, meaning Kerr and Bushler, and told them the situation and to take the first good contract they could because we were not going to bid for them. They deserved it. And in terms of Phil Jackson, he said, we had the finest coach in the game in Phil Jackson, whom the public did not know, didn't want to coach a rebuilding team, and who had informed us before the season that he wanted to ride off to Montana and take at least a year off. So he's saying Phil told them they were done. And you're making that face, which is like, come on.
I mean, look, that's well and good. That's well and good, but
I feel the same way too.
And you can blame the Jordan finger, but like if they would have just said during the season, hey, we're going to try to go for 7, then maybe Mike doesn't go here and hurt his finger, and then they re-sign all the other small pieces.
Jordan said at the end of the Last Dance last night, I'd have signed another year.
Right.
We all would have, and Scottie would have needed some convincing. So then the question isn't, why didn't you do that? Who was the first domino to say this is not happening? Was it Reinsdorf? Was it Krause? Was it Phil? Was it you? Was it the lockout? What was it? It's still a large question mark. And for the guy who watched 10 episodes of it, I was left a little bit disappointed. And for the 29-year-old that showed up with a full salad head, who was wondering at the time when it happened, why was it happening, and the thought that the 50-year-old version of this guy who's on the screen right now would find out. I can't believe I still don't know the full-on answer. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.